What's up, guys? It is Night Slasher back with another video, and as you can probably tell right away, the audio is just the slightest bit better. If you're wondering how I achieved this, it was pretty straightforward. I bought a headset on Wednesday, and it is still Wednesday, so I'm using the headset I bought on Wednesday. Pretty simple. The good thing about this headset is I think part of the reason that my audio was so bad before was just because I'm not used to talking into a microphone, and it wasn't the best of microphones. But now I have a headset which I'm very used to talking into, so the overall quality should be better. As far as the gameplay you're seeing in the background right now, it shouldn't be anything special. It's just this is my double upload for today, or my second upload I should say, so I thought I'd just put some gameplay in the background. What that gameplay is going to be, I don't know yet. I will decide though after I've made this audio, and we'll just go from there. So, that brings me to my next point. What is this video about? Well, I thought I'd share some stories. Nothing too exciting, but just I would tell you just I guess I have a lot of really weird stories from going to the gym. And I don't want to make this a channel where I talk about the gym all the time. I almost never want to bring that up actually. But I do want to share some of these stories because I think they're pretty good. And I'm not necessarily going to make a whole bunch of episodes for, gym stories and whatnot. But I might make one. And if I get any indication that I need to make more, then I will. So, I think if we're going to talk about gym stories, we need to talk about when I first went to the gym. When I was 13, way back in, that's 2 years ago, or maybe about a year and 3/4 ago, quite a while. It feels like a very long time, because this was when I still lived in the United States. I still lived in the South, in the U.S., and I had never gone to the gym before. I was working out at home before this, so I had a little bit of understanding, but I hadn't been to the gym before, ever. So, the first thing is, it's always going to be a little bit intimidating at first. That has to be a given. You have to know that it's going to be an awkward and weird experience. But no one could have prepared me for what I saw. People always talk about what you encounter when you go into bathrooms in gyms and YMCA's. But of course, I never believed it. I thought it was just, I guess, just exaggerated stories is the right word, but unfortunately, it is not. If you go into a bathroom at a gym or a YMCA, you are probably going to see a group of old people standing there with their junks out, just casually talking about the weather. Yeah, they just, no clothes, of course. They're just standing there. Three dicks are a couple inches from each other, arms crossed, and they're having a conversation. And there is no words that can prepare a 13-year-old boy to walk in and see four naked old people standing there having a conversation. And it's a little bit awkward talking about this and reliving this moment, but I was shocked, okay? I did not know what to do. But judging the way I usually handle situations, this was no different. I just sort of pretended it never happened and got into the gym. I should also mention that this gym was not, like, there's different kinds of gyms. This one was a private gym in an old neighborhood, like a private old neighborhood. So of course, if you were to go there, you were most definitely going to encounter old people. There was a pool on one side of the gym, and then the rest was sort of like, I wouldn't know to call it this, but it was almost like a, it was more engineered towards being a CrossFit gym than a bodybuilding gym, and I'm no fan of CrossFit, but when I was first starting, I had no idea what it was, so it didn't mean anything to me. But now I go to a more bodybuilding oriented gym. The gym I went to then, it was kind of a CrossFit gym, which a lot of old people do, and there were a lot of trainers teaching old classes and stuff. But anyway, the first thing I gotta mention is I had no idea that there were going to be old people standing there with their junks out. That happened, and ever since then, I always was a little bit reluctant to go into the gym bathroom. And that is sort of a story that some of my friends would appreciate hearing, because my bio on social media for the longest time was bad things happen in the gym bathroom. And that is why, if you're wondering, is because when you go in there, the sights you behold are not sights you want to remember. So, what else? Well, the next story I want to tell happened quite a bit later on, and that was when I actually moved to Scotland, or the UK. That's where I guess I am. And what I did was, okay, first off, I should say, in the UK, you're not really obliged or inclined to work out before you're 16. Most gyms won't let kids in if they're under 16, which I think is stupid. I know a lot of kids think it's stupid, but I thought it was stupid enough to justify lying about my age to get in. And in the UK, there aren't IDs or anything, so if you say you're 16, by all means you're 16. At least that's how it is in my experience. There's no one to tell me you're not 16. So, I go to the gym as a 16-year-old, but that's not what this story is about. This story is about me going into a bodybuilding-oriented gym for the first time, and what I saw in there. Now, you don't always get the bodybuilding crowd in there. A lot of times you get the old, lazy, and slow crowd, which is just a pain to be around. But the first day that I went into the gym, or one of the first days, I met this guy. I didn't meet him, but I saw this guy who was very clearly a bodybuilder. I mean, he wasn't necessarily what I would say a size that naturally you could achieve. He was somebody who had taken his profession seriously, used all kinds of substances, had a crazy routine, and he was injured. Injured is important because of what happened. So, I noticed that he is in very good shape. He's really ripped. He's really huge. But he's got a cast on his tricep. So, I think, okay, well, he's just training through it. And he was. And through the whole time I was in the gym, I really didn't pay much attention to him because he just kept to himself, did his own thing, and that's fine. And I did my own thing. But there was a point when I couldn't resist, because across the room of the gym, I heard a yell. And this was this guy screaming in pain, pretty much, because his tricep had done something, I guess. It stopped working. And, of course, when you're on the gear, you tend to be a little bit more short-tempered. At least, this guy was definitely no exception to that. So the first thing he does is he basically punches this machine. And this machine, if you're wondering, it's technically a lateral pull-down machine. But since you can change the grip at the top, you can also use it for tricep extensions, if you so desire, and that's exactly what he was doing. Training your triceps while a tricep is injured doesn't sound like a very good idea, and I'm sure in hindsight he looks back on it like a bad idea. But I should just say, at the moment, he was training an injured tricep, and I would not recommend that, but he was. So, he gets frustrated and he hits the machine. This machine is steel, so he probably regretted hitting it afterwards, and you saw it in his face. And he was frustrated because he hurt his hand on the machine, so he smacked the rope he was using to do the tricep extension, and then he walked off for a second. And I thought, okay, well, things are getting a little bit interesting here. And they were. So I just keep going and I ignore it. And by the time I forgot about it, he actually came back. And he's going to try again. Except this time, his reaction is not near as calm. And hitting a steel machine is by no means very calm. But this, what happened next, is just, I had no words, and I still don't really. But he hits the machine, or after having hit the machine, and he's trying to do his tricep extensions again. This time, when it hurts, I guess, and he can't do it, he decides to pick up the machine and throw it across the gym floor. I'm just going to give you a second to take that in. Now, these machines go up to like 200 pounds or something you can put on them, or more. It's in kilograms, but that's what they go up to. So for starters, there's 200 pounds on this machine. And I would assume that this base probably weighs 50 to 100. So, is it liftable? Yes. Most people could probably do it if they tried hard enough. But the sound the thing made when it hit the floor, he threw it like it was a beach ball. He threw it like a beach ball across the room. And at that point, I thought, well, nice workout, good to be here, I'm going to leave. And that's what I did. I can't say what happened next, because the next day when I went in, there were no signs that the machine had flown across the room. It was right where it usually is, and I didn't think to ask how it got back. I assumed they needed a couple people to lift it and put it back, and to this day I've never seen that guy in the gym again. Well, I think that's going to be all the gym stories for this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy. Let me know if the audio is better. I know it is. It has to be. And the audio is just going to keep getting better because I'm going to keep using this format for the rest of my videos. But anyway, in the meantime, it has been Night Slasher, and if you could leave a like and subscribe, that would be great. And I will see you in the next one.